Naofumi is an average college student who gets transported into another world alongside 3 other strangers. Naofumi soon discovers a shield attached to his arm and people asking him and the others to save their world. In this video I will show you what Naofumi did wrong and what strategies I would use to save this world and beat the anime. When they arrive, the king explains that their world is under threat from waves, interdimensional portals that open periodically and dump monsters into their lands. Each of the heroes has one legendary weapon: sword, spear, bow and shield. Naofumi also learns to his horror that he cannot pick up a sword, for his shield must be his only weapon. This is bad. Obviously our biggest weakness is not having an offensive weapon. That means we must get creative with our shield's abilities to make them offensive. I will soon show you how. Before the first wave hits, the heroes must level up, as well as upgrade their weapons. But Naofumi has a lot of trouble killing any monsters without a blade. This is why he purchases a slave Raptalia. He makes her his party member and trains her to be his sword. He then learns that party members share experience points. This is good news, as now he has a sword user to kill monsters. Then he finds out that he can feed bits and pieces of the monsters to his shield in order to unlock transformations. 2 of them soon decide to go and mine some ore to sell, and inside the mine Naofumi unlocks Airstrike Shield. This new ability instantly creates a shield anywhere within the range. It can also be thrown at targets, causing light damage and knockback. I already have a way of turning this into an offensive ability. I would try to spawn Airstrike Shield inside the enemy, and depending on the rules of the game, one of 2 things would happen. It would offset to the closest non-occupied space, that is besides the monster, or it will spawn inside the monster and do a lot of damage before either breaking or destroying the monster. Honestly, this already seems like an overpowered ability, as you have a very long range, perfectly precise ability, but sadly Naofumi never uses it this way. While mining some more, 2 of them are ambushed by a 2-headed black dog. As Naofumi struggles to hold the black dog, he yells to Raptalia to kill it, but she freezes up in terror. This is bad. If I was in this situation, I would just tell her to run away, because if she can't fight, I need to protect her, instead of focusing on killing the monster. But Raptalia realizes that Naofumi might die, and out of courage and despair, Raptalia grabs her dagger and pounces on the dog, stabbing it to death. With this, Naofumi unlocks 2-headed black dog shield. Okay. She overcame her fear pretty quickly. I would be surprised and congratulate her. Also, I would have spawned Airstrike Shield inside the monster to tear it apart. A few weeks pass and they have killed many monsters and unlocked different shield upgrades. Raptalia has grown because demi-humans grow quickly when they level up. Once the rift to another dimension opened up and the wave started, the 4 heroes and their parties are transported to their location. There they encounter hordes of undead monsters. If I was in this situation, here's what I would do. I would first see how easy they are to kill and how much damage they do. Since they are pretty easy to kill, I would try to learn them into a single spot and then use any AoE abilities that I might have. Area of Effect ability is an ability that affects an area, for example a flame, as opposed to a single target ability like an arrow. The problem here is that Naofumi doesn't even know what most of his abilities do. You need to train yourself such that in battle you don't even think what your abilities do and how to use them. Out of 20 upgrades, there is likely to be at least one AoE spell. But Naofumi does something similar. He lures as many monsters as possible away from the village and then drops a flaming guard tower on top of the horde. Seeing this, several villagers return to the village in order to help Naofumi fight. Soon after that, knights arrive. 3 other heroes defeat the wave's boss, thus ending the wave. While celebrating their victory at the castle, spear hero Motoyasu challenges Naofumi to a duel in order to free Naofumi's slave Raptalia. Naofumi refuses, but the king takes Raptalia hostage and forces Naofumi to fight. Now let me tell you, shield appears to be insanely overpowered. Level 43 spear versus level 21 shield. The moment they touch, the shield should break, no questions asked. This is one of the most OP weapons I have ever seen. Currently, we know about Naofumi's 3 offensive abilities: double-headed black dog bite, airstrike shield and shield prison. The big weakness of a spear is close combat. Therefore, I would lock both of us in a shield prison and then use dog bite to defeat him. I also could beat him up with my own fists, as he would probably be helpless against my shield in this closed out space. Naofumi blocks all the incoming strikes with relative ease using light metal shield. The spear hero then uses his powerful attack, Chaos Spear, but it does nothing and goes on cooldown. Using the balloon monsters on his person as weapons and the shields he unlocked, Naofumi corners Motoyasu. With his double-headed dog shield and airstrike shield, he knocks the spear hero down and then locks him in a shield prison together with few balloon monsters. As Naofumi was about to win, Princess Mine hits him with a wind magic. This gives the spear hero opportunity to use lightning spear, knocking Naofumi down. Spear hero Motoyasu declares victory. The shield hero yells at everyone that he cheated, but King ordered everyone to deny it. Raptalia has its slave crest removed, but she chooses to stay in Naofumi's party, as he fed her and cured her of disease. Raptalia and Naofumi do some soul bonding, and she promises to be his sword forever. Two of them return to the slave trader, who restores Raptalia's slave crest by her own request. By absorbing the ink from the ritual into his legendary shield, Naofumi unlocks the slave series for his shield, which gives Raptalia an extra bonus to her stats per level up. They also buy a monster egg, which can have either a Felolial or, if they are lucky, a dragon. Later the egg hatches, revealing a newborn Felolial. They call it Philo. Philo grows up pretty quickly as they level up together. The next morning, all of a sudden Naofumi discovers that the bird is gone and there is a girl with wings. They learn that Philo is a Felolial queen, thus having the ability to transform into a human. The group spends several days making money by selling goods, medicine and giving people rides, gaining quite a bit of fame and money in the process. They learn about a magic gem and decide to get it. The location in question is a cave. While walking down the cave, they encounter a few monsters. In this situation, I would use shield prison immediately while they are laying down. Then I would spawn airstrike shield inside of it and make a smoothie out of them. Another way to fight this is to have my team behind me, and these monsters would probably attack whatever is closest to them. So when they get stuck against my OP shield, Raptalia and Philo can catch them off guard. As these monsters don't seem smart enough to attack together, we can kill them one by one. I would discover that Lion has a big AoE lightning attack, but we would be able to dodge it, or I could trap him in a shield prison while he's charging it, and I'm pretty sure my shield could take a full blast without it leaving a scratch. Our heroes on the other hand do things a bit differently. Raptalia tries to attack the lion, but he is obviously stronger. Then Naofumi tries to hold it off, but Philo realizes that Lion is charging a big lightning attack, so she pushes him and takes Naofumi away, dodging a huge lightning AoE. Raptalia uses her invisibility, but the monster is very sensitive to sound and the snake attacks her. Realizing this, Naofumi brings out his newest shield, Voice Gengar Shield, and has Philo yell into it like a megaphone. The resulting sound attack cripples the monsters, who are further attacked with a fire blast from the mage. Raptalia and Philo take their opportunity and finish off the creature. Then the group collects the crystals. As our friends continue to travel, they come across a village overrun by highly aggressive fruit-bearing vines. The village chief explains that the spear hero Motoyasu attempted to solve the town's famine by planting some magic plant seed. Even though the plant produced a large number of fruits, it rapidly mutated into a monster, and some even turned into parasites infesting the townspeople. After Naofumi successfully cured villagers, they decided to slay the monster plant. Let's first come up with a strategy, then see if our heroes use the same approach or not. First, I would look for weak spots on the plant. I see a single big flower, so I'd set our goal to cut it off and see if it works. As this plant probably isn't hypersensitive to sound, I would tell Raptalia to use her invisibility and cut off the flower, while me and Philo distract it. Now, I am not sure how Raptalia's invisibility works, as in many games, once you attack the enemy, your invisibility drops, but if it doesn't, then Raptalia can do a lot of damage to this plant. If the flower cutting doesn't work, then I would spawn Shield Prison so that it overlaps with the monster tearing it apart. They also think of destroying that flower, but as they do, it just regenerates. They then use herbicide they used to cure the villagers, which I completely forgot about. Raptalia gets caught but manages to spill the herbicide onto the plant, but the plant quickly regenerates again. Naofumi realizes that potion enhancement might work on the herbicide and starts to walk forward. He quickly gets entangled, but destroys the vines with his overpowered defense. He then uses potion enhancement on the herbicide and spills it over the plant's roots. This completely obliterates the monster plant. Naofumi feeds one seed to his shield and unlocks Bioplant Shield. Using it, he genetically modifies the seeds so they give a lot of fruit without mutating into monsters, thus solving the village's famine problem for real. During the traveling, the group overhears some merchants' conversation about medicine being sold off at a faster rate in the village to the east. Arriving at that village, Naofumi sells them medicine and potions that cure the sick. The village doctor explains that the source of their illness is the wind from the mountain, where lies the corpse of a dragon that was killed about a month earlier by a sword hero, who then left the body where it was slain. The wind soon started bringing the poisonous air from the mountain to the village. The shield hero offers to remove the corpse of the dragon for a payment, which the villagers agree to. When they arrive at the location, to their horror, the corpse reanimates as a dragon zombie. And we have another fight. Let's come up with a strategy. I would tell my team to stay behind me, as we have no idea how powerful this thing is. Although we know that the sword hero defeated it, the resurrected enemies usually have a few completely new OP abilities. It is important to play slowly and drag out battles against enemies you don't know. This is exactly what our friends don't do. Because Philolials and dragons are natural enemies, Philo recklessly attacks the reanimated beast just to be eaten alive. Both Philo and Raptalia have a bad habit of coin flipping their attacks. That is, they just attack to see what happens. A good player only attacks if he knows exactly how it leads to victory. But when you don't know what the enemy can do, then you may use safe distance attacks to gather information. Charging face first into a dragon zombie is not a safe information gathering attack. Let Naofumi use airstrike shield and shield prison to see how the dragon zombie reacts. After Philo is eaten, her life flashes before Naofumi's eyes, snapping him again and again. His screen starts glitching as Naofumi flies off into a berserker rage. Naofumi activates the dangerous Rage Shield, which has a great power, but is greatly corruptive and may destroy everything in its path. The dragon zombie strikes him, but Naofumi tanks it as if it was nothing. Bathed in the Rage Shield's flame, he walks towards the dragon, telling it to burn, suffer and die. However, Naofumi is snapped out of his rage as Raptalia calls him. Between the poison from the undead dragon and the burns from Naofumi's new shield, Raptalia is in horrible condition as the dragon is still coming after them, and the only shield strong enough to beat it is the Rage Shield. Naofumi realizes that he may again lose control and incinerate everything. Miraculously, the dragon suddenly kneels over and Philo claws her way out of his stomach. Both of them are very happy that she is alive. They clear the corpse and return to the village seeking cure for Raptalia. The doctor says that she is cursed by the dragon and the only way to lift the curse is to use high quality holy water. Philo gives Naofumi a piece of crystal she found inside the dragon. Feeding the crystal to his shield, Naofumi unlocks something that he needs a higher level to use. He also notices that the Rage Shield is not a part of the upgrade tree. With this, Naofumi vows to become stronger. On their way back, the trio encounters a young nobleman's daughter named Melty, who is separated from her escort. Arriving at the castle town, Naofumi and Raptalia go to the church to buy the holy water. They also learn that Melty is a princess and first in line to the throne. The group soon notices that they cannot level up anymore, and the blacksmith explains that they need to get a class upgrade. But they get rejected at the church, as the king directly forbade the class upgrades for the shield hero and his party. I honestly never understood why the king and the older princess keep conspiring against the shield hero, as if they want their kingdom to be destroyed by the waves. Naofumi goes to visit the black market slave trader, who explains that there are other countries where Naofumi can get class upgrades, but he won't get there in time before the next wave. A few days later, the next wave begins and the group gets teleported to its location. A horde of goblins and beastmen are defeated by the shield hero and his party. There is also a familiar old woman who makes a short work of the monsters, but stops to briefly thank Naofumi for curing her a month earlier. The group then goes to confront the wave's boss. They spot Itsuki, who explains that in order to stop the wave, they need to defeat the Soul Eater, but they are just unable to spawn it. Arriving at the ship, Naofumi sees Ren's group fight an endlessly reviving Skull Captain, while Motoyasu's group faces off against a Kraken. I'll take this opportunity to teach you how to defeat an enemy that cannot die. It is rather simple. All you need to do is to trap it, seal it, or incapacitate it in any other way. Lock it up into an iron coffin and throw it into the ocean. If the monster can be taken apart, then lock every part into a separate coffin and bury it all around the world. Looking at the Skull Captain, Naofumi realizes there is something hiding in the shadow and orders Raptalia to hit it with light magic, thanks to which the Soul Eater is forced out of hiding. The Soul Eater proves to be a very strong adversary, as heroes cannot even scratch it. Philo's wind and highly quick kicks are slowly wearing it down. However, Naofumi realizes they've already wasted too much time and the other defenders are too exhausted to keep going for much longer. Seeing as the entire world is on the brink of the destruction, Naofumi calls on Raptalia's emotional support and activates the Rage Shield. At the same time, the Dragon Zombie calls to Naofumi, upgrading Rage Shield to Wrath Shield. The wrath spills onto Philo, sending her into Berserk Rage against the Soul Eater. Raptalia calls to Naofumi, releasing him of the Dragon's Rage and putting the Wrath Shield under his control. Clearing his head, Naofumi combines the Shield Prism with the Animal Needle Shield, unlocking the Iron Maiden. Naofumi traps Soul Eater inside the Iron Maiden and stabs it to death. Soon after, to their horror, a second Soul Eater appears. However, someone else one-shots the monster without breaking a sweat. The woman introduces herself as Glass and mocks the group for being so weak that a monster like this was giving them a hard time. She makes it very clear that she is their enemy and gets ready to fight. I don't understand what she is trying to prove, but obviously she is so strong that she could probably kill all of us in an instant. I would yell at her that we don't have time for this, as this world will soon be destroyed. I would offer to 1v1 her if she helps me stop the wave, although this wouldn't work, as we'll later find out that she is with the wave. In that case, we now know that Soul Eater was not the final boss, but she is. We should approach this as any other fight against an unknown enemy. We should throw ranged attacks and gather information about her fighting style. Motoyasu, Ren and Itsuki use their ultimate abilities, Meteor Thrust, Meteor Slash and Meteor Shot, and Glass tanks it as if it was nothing. Then she uses Zero Stance Rondo Reverse 4 Seasons, which knocks down everyone except Naofumi and his companions. Naofumi uses his Shield Prison, but she breaks out. This was a distraction, as Raptalia moves in and attempts to strike Glass. However, Glass parries her attacks and repels Philo's incoming kick effortlessly. She then launches a wind attack at Raptalia, forcing Naofumi to jump in its way. Defending her, the shield hero uses his Viper Shield. Despite being beaten by 3 massive serpents, Glass is unfazed as it does nothing to her. Glass then parries each of Philo's kicks and intercepts Raptalia's attack, breaking her sword in the process. Glass starts to charge her attack, and Naofumi's group hides behind him as he summons the Shield Prison to protect them. There is one huge mistake that everybody is making. Glass obviously cannot cast Reverse 4 Seasons instantly, as it has around 1 second cast time, where she needs to literally say the words Zero Stance Rondo Reverse 4 Seasons. 1 second is more than enough to interrupt her with your own attacks. The entire weakness of casting abilities is that they can be interrupted, so don't let her cast it. Glass, on the other hand, can get around this by attacking them with an instant ability, then using it as a distraction to cast Reverse 4 Seasons. 3 of them just stood there and waited for Glass to cast it. Even though Naofumi blocked it, Raptalia and Philo collapsed from exhaustion. Glass then mocks Naofumi to use his true power, the Wrath Shield. Recognizing the full severity of their situation, and with Raptalia's approval, the shield hero activates his Wrath Shield. Philo's resulting power-up doesn't even faze Glass, who sends the giant bird flying across the deck. Angered, Naofumi charges forward. Fire magic lashes against wind magic, but in the end, Glass is consumed in a pillar of fire. Despite being covered from head to toe, the flames do not hurt her. Worse still, after breaking free, Glass uses an armor-piercing attack, which cuts through Naofumi's defense. Again, my guy, don't let her cast these abilities. You are just standing there while she is saying Rapture Stance Rondo Tortoise Shell Cracker. Interrupt her with Airstrike Shield, or at least try. Glass adores Naofumi's power and orders him to use his ultimate ability. Naofumi traps her into Shield Prison, then summons Iron Maiden. To everyone's surprise, or not, Glass effortlessly breaks out of Iron Maiden. As she lands, Naofumi wonders in despair if there is anything they can do to defeat her. A good player knows when to retreat. In this situation, their best option is to bail out. Naofumi has Raptalia blind Glass with Fast Light, allowing him to cast healing magic on Philo. Because Glass wouldn't let him cast channeling abilities, she knows that you need to interrupt your enemies while they are channeling abilities. Jumping onto Philo's back, they run away. Glass runs to the stern of the ship, utilizing a long-range attack in a bid to finish off her adversary. Thanks to Philo's speed and airstrike shield and Naofumi's sheer resilience, the group manages to escape. The wave reaches its time limit and Glass and monsters vanish, warning that this fight is not over. This has been episodes 1 to 12 of Teta no Yusha no Nariagari, aka The Rising of the Shield Hero. If this video goes popular, I will do the other 14 episodes. See you in the next video, where I will teach you how to beat different anime.